Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for a new show.
Yep.
Replacing A Place Further Than the Universe. We have great teacher
Onizuka. Yes, an oldie of
an
sorts.
older show, yes.
The one that almost won against Berserk.
But here it's back. It defeated Steins Gate Zero, so this show's gotta be pretty good.
Steins Gate Zero just can't seem to catch a break. Like, wow.
But here's the thing, like, I think this might be one of the oldest reaction series we'll have done.
Probably.
On the channel. It's older than Berserk, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that I don't really know much, if anything, about the show, like, other than there's a teacher.
Yeah, so it probably takes place at a school. Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of comedy involved, but, you know, other than that, I'm really excited to be surprised by, like, you know, a good old classic anime that I should have watched, but I wasn't an anime fan back then.
Yep.
Or I wasn't even able to read. Yeah, guys, we're excited to watch this episode of Great Teacher Onizuka, but without further ado, let's get into it. This is a long premiere.
And panty shot as the very first thing.
Oh, dang. After beating you up. Whoa, what?
さあ、ここで問題です。今から殺されるのはどっちでしょう。1、空手二段で変態なボクちゃん。君たち悪いな、小遣い。
Thanks for the money.
今度活躍するときは言ってんだよ。6年だぜ。俺たち東京に出てきて、おめえは今やここでショップ任されてるってんだから。育実習か。ドキドキすんぜ。
Oh my god. Oh, shining eye. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Bro, no.
Oh no. I love that they have it like in a picture frame.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah. Classic. Wow, this guy's pretty young too.
一昨年が13人、去年は20人食ったかな。
食ったって生徒。
Oh my
How is this guy not in jail?
Hold on.
とにかくこの商売、40代で16の花嫁も夢じゃねえからよ。
Oh my god.
40代で16の。
何しろこのクラスは。
40代で16の花嫁。
I love the picture frame, like his internal thoughts.
それともご飯？
Wow. And then he comes in like, Oh, it's a bunch of guys.
可愛いとこあんた。何？殴るわけ？やるね。その足で教育委員会に駆け込んでやったら。
いじめだの薬だのってめちゃくちゃじゃん今
Yeah,
のガキ。
still true nowadays
サラ
too.
リーマン教師やったらいいんだよ。
The thing is, he might have already killed someone in his life.
That's true.
He's like, oh, it's you.
ソクラテスは真理を追求する者のけ。
おお、合ってるぞ。
Oh yeah, that is correct.
昨日はどうも。
Wow.
先生がうちのクラスだったなんて。
Yeah. Teacher Bonsai.
先生、ちょっと親とトラブっちゃって、うち飛び出してきちゃった。
16歳の若妻。40まで
What
待
is
つ
with
必要
these
もねえよ
faces?
な。
今晩泊まらしてくらはい。
He's like, I am a god. What the heck? Oh my god.
今度あるとよかったのにね。
なんでこんな暴走見るんだ。
Yeah. Good man.
自由になりたい。あんなうちもう帰りたくない。もうどうしていいかわかんなくって。先生。
Oh my gosh. I don't think he has to be. Oh! no! Oh no! Oh no way! Oh my god! She hustled you good! She hustled you so good!
ごめんね、私にも分け前くれるって言うからさ。あ、すき焼き食べてね。
Bring us a million yen! Oh my god!
いやー最高だったな。
Yeah, it was!
恋みたく口パクパク。
Did he summon his old gang?
Yeah, like yeah.
俺たちの集会場でうるせえな。
Oh, so they just got unlucky.
ああこの始末。
Oh shoot. The teacher's gonna come and save them.
So that he can kick their asses.
あれは。
Wait. He's got a reputation.
この方は湘南の伝説となった
Mr. Ikichi Onizuka.
先生。よしよし。こいつら。俺の。獲物だ。
Don't let them leave. I've
They're
got
mine.
business.
あげろ。せーの。心配すんな。殺しやしねえよ。
Kill ya.
まだ股先と火炙りとサンドバッグじゃねえぞてめえら。
Teachers are human too. Well said.
切れる時もあるんだよ。ああ、それに俺はまだ教師でもねえ。ごめんなさい、もうしまって。よう、垣根一回取っ払ってみねえか。教師とか生徒っていうめんどくせえ
Yes.
垣根。
Okay. Let us talk as equals.
てめえのケツはてめえで拭く。そういう覚悟がいるんだよ。人ってやつはよ。てめえら、俺が先行になれなかったらてめえらのせいだからな。よし、生き地獄見せてやるから。
Oh, this is amazing.
やっぱ首かな。
鬼塚先生、
来た
一体何をなさったんですか。
They're gonna be so like orderly and stuff.
驚きました。
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
本当に尊敬する鬼塚先生に頑張って教師になっていただきたいので、校内の掃除をしたい。
Oh my gosh! And they want.
どんな指導をさせてもらう先生になるんですか。全セレ鬼塚先生がいらっしゃったぞ。鬼塚先生。
Truly the greatest teacher. Yeah.
いや鬼塚先生。
愛の無知を少々。
What
大
the
組の
heck?
強制の話。
What the heck?
あのゴミ用組を救済したっていう話でしょ。
本日もお勤めご苦労様でした。鬼塚先生。ああ。明日もよろしくご指導をお願いします。
This is. I love this
Yeah.
so much. Like
Yeah.
I can't wait to see like where it continues because.
先生か。
やっぱあの先行いじめの罠開発したの私なんだ。
お前みてえなのは悪魔って言うんだよ。さっさと蹴れ。
ねえ先生、これからうちに来ない？
行くわけねえだろ。
Yeah, absolutely not. No way.
いかん。鬼塚駅地
Okay, he's 22.
22. All right.
Okay, this is a trap.
Yeah, yeah.
でもこのまま走ると風でミニスカがめく
I love how he's weighing it
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
he's in genuine internal conflict here.
Watch.
Oh my god, here we go.
気持ちいいね。
騙されるな。鬼塚駅地22歳。
Ikichi Onizuka, 22 years old.
たかがノーパンかもしれない。
赤くなってる。かわ
でっけえ家だな。
いい。ビールでいい？
That's awesome.
本当に金持ちだったんだな。俺の魂は少々のはした金じゃな。うおー、うわ、中 トロだよ。
She said about the story was
大トロ
right.
お前でいい。
Sure.
だからせめて中トロとか。
Wow. I gotta get at least one.
ドライブしようよ。ねえ、今日先生とこ止めてよ。
大トロとマグロの。
Oh my gosh! He's like you and me, Jacob. Like when food catches your mind, it just doesn't leave.
It really doesn't.
ねえ、お願い。入りたくないの。
まろやかで脂の乗った風味と香りはしつこいぞ。何考えてんだ。
Holy crap!
No way.
Wow!
Yeah. Yeah.
帰りたくないの。帰るんだったら死んだ方がマシよ。ちょっと無茶したかっただけ。この間のすき焼き、先生食べてくれた？
食い物は粗末。
Yeah, I don't waste food.
I'm not a monster, you know.
よくすき焼きやったんだよ。その頃はまだ狭いアパートで月に1回の給料日がすき焼きの日でね。家もだんだん大きくなってね。パパの部屋もママの部屋も。
See,
でも
Yeah.
気がついたらみんなですき焼き食べることもなくなっちゃった。今の家はね、パパとママの部屋
see,
にあった
see,
壁が
see. Yep.
Yeah.
触るとひんやり冷たいの。戻りたい。あの頃にあんな冷たい壁なんかもう見たくないよ。
俺んとこなんか壁の向こうは若夫婦でよ。夜な夜な羨ましい声が。いや、
No, that's no.
帰れよ。お前の家に。
ああ、じゃそういうことで。
あら、珍しいのね。こんな時間にいるなんて。どういう風の吹き回し？
さっき君の店から電話があったぞ。電話なら自分の部屋に回せとそう言ってるだろ。
あら、あなたこそ変な女にうちの電話番号教えないでくれる？みつこさんだっけ？
あれは取引先の。
Who else is coming here?
なんで
This is Onizuka, isn't it?
Oh, no way! He's gonna smash the wall! He's gonna smash the wall! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! They're like, oh, what?
He didn't even use the sledgehammer for it.
Nope.
He just
な
knocked
ん
it
とか言え
down.
なんとか。
ななこ。
水木、これか？
七子。やめろ。何するんだ。七子。こっち
Jeez!
に来なさい。七子。
Like, oh no, you're right. I think that is something else in there. Wow. Shoot, like, all right. Now she might actually fall in love with you. Like,
こっから先はお前次第だぞ。
yeah, all right.
変な男がうちに。あ、ななこ何するの？
おい。ちょっと待ちたまえ。
Okay.
Nope,
皆
nope,
さん
okay.
短い間だったけど、
Yeah,
いいよ
right, because there is the aftermath, you
こ
know.
れから俺は日本一ビッグでグレートな教師
No
目
After,
way.
after like 2 days of class.
ありがと
No
う。
way.
ところで大沢くんは？実習中止になったって。
Oh
な
my
んだか
gosh.
生徒に手を出した
Oh
とか
my
で。
gosh.
やっぱね。先生、この間はありがとう。私見ちゃったんです。パパとママがね、壁の穴を通して目が合った途端、今度は私が二人の心の壁を壊して
Oh,
There we
go. Good, good.
Awesome.
Oh,
先生になってね。
he's like, yeah.
10年早えんだよガキが
あ本気にしてないな
She's gonna take. Yep. Okay.
Wow.
That was so dang funny. Like,
Okay.
I don't even know how to, like, comprehend a show like this existing. It's so specific.
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
You get exactly the type of vibe the show's trying to be.
Oh,
but it
absolutely.
just goes
It
all the
perfectly
way.
communicated that in this first episode. Like,
That's why I think they needed it to be like extra, like a double
right,
feature.
Yeah,
Like,
because they basically the first half was basically him dealing with the boys, and that's the whole gangster side of himself of just the literally like torturing them and all that stuff
right.
to gain their respect.
Yeah.
And then the other one was basically showing how he can be strangely understanding and compassionate and all that.
Right. It sets up a perfect contradiction to his character because
Yes.
we have
Yes.
the old version of him that was a gangster. We don't know why, and we don't
Right.
know what he did primarily. All we know is that he was pretty legendary.
Yeah.
And like he's 22 now. So
Right.
he was a freak of nature, when
Yeah.
he was a gangster or what
Yeah.
have you. And his
He's
confidence.
he's a double black belt at 22. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know anything about karate, really.
Right.
But that sounds pretty impressive.
But all that leading up to this instance where they relocated him and Ryuji to try and move on, I guess.
Right.
And they're like starting a new life,
Yep,
and they're
yep.
getting everything
Turning over a new
worked
leaf,
out in
all that
order and
stuff,
stuff.
yeah. Mhm.
But the thing is that they still have their personality problems, their
Right.
personality flaws. And
And the fact that like Yakuza members will just be like, I don't know who that person is, but they look promising. Like,
but then having his kind of delinquent attitude becoming a thing that when his students try to scam him actually being the thing that ends up making them all just have fierce, I would say, fear and respect for him.
Is it too much to ask for both?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they all end up loving him because it's like when you have that perfect middle ground of fear and respect, that's kind of what happens. It's a form of admiration more so than love, but
Right.
oh my gosh, Jacob, like the episode was just chock full
Of just crazy.
like crazy stuff.
Okay, and all right. I just have to say,
Yeah.
the facial expressions.
Yes.
Wow.
Like I'm trying to like mimic some of them. Like there were little
They
moments.
were just ridiculous.
There were so many little moments where you could see Onizuka's face just kind of be like, like just over the top.
Okay, here's another thing. This show started the episode, the very first frame, with a panty shot.
Yep.
Now normally that I would think that would be a show that I wouldn't end up being able to take very seriously.
Right.
Oh, and I mean, it's sort of like that. Like, you don't
kinda
take it
don't
fully
take it
seriously,
that
but then there's the
seriously,
parts
right.
that you can take seriously,
Yeah.
But like, oh man, this was really good. Like,
Yeah, I think that the main thing that made it so good was that the character of Onizuka was built as being the anchor of the entire episode.
yeah.
Everything
Oh, yeah.
revolved around his character.
Yep.
So that you are being like hard sold on his character throughout the entire episode.
yeah,
and then
he's so extreme that you can't not get a very quick grasp on the kind of person he is. So they were able to give him development
within
in the
episode,
first episode.
because it was basically the depth of because of where he came from, because of where he is now, he is obviously trying to rectify that. So he's
Right,
taking
yeah.
specific actions and measures in order to do that. But you
Yep.
know, based on the way they set up his character within the first few minutes, that
Right.
it's so completely contrary to what he normally does that
Walking
it's technically,
contradictions.
Yeah, it's technically not a depth reveal; it's a development aspect. Like it's actually him changing because you see him doing things that you're like, oh wow, like this guy's a delinquent. Like this guy's kind
got
of
some
a problem.
problems. Yeah.
Yeah. But then by the end of the episode, he did some really cool things with a lot of great personal risk to himself. Walking into Mizuki's house with a freaking sledgehammer. Yeah, like a big sledgehammer. And just be like, excuse me.
Is this the wall?
Yep. Yeah. Is this it? Oh my gosh. Oh,
okay.
Wow.
And the fact that, they ended it with him being like, all right, this is over. And then, Sensei, I will save myself for you.
And he's like, you need to be like 10 years older to say it like that. Oh, you're not taking me seriously? Woo! And then, of course, it lands perfectly on his face. It's just like, wow.
With the wind, like blowing up the skirt and everything.
Yeah. Like, he,
Wow. Like my face actually is hurting right now. Like
it's the kind of thing where I feel like because we've watched enough anime now,
right, we can actually
appreciate this.
Yeah, right. Whereas like I could we're
not getting bent out of shape, really.
Yeah, like I could totally see something where like, oh well, dang, we started the channel 2 years ago, so like 4 or 5 years ago, we would not have been able to properly appreciate this show.
No.
Yeah.
Like, Jacob was worried I wouldn't be able to appreciate Konosuba as much.
Right.
But, like, this was fantastic. I do think it was great, though, the twist in the beginning of
them,
like, everything is working out too well. And Jacob you were about to be like, this is a dream. Like, this cannot be actually real. And I was like, it's happening. Like, I don't think this is it. Like, I don't see any picture frame, on the side here.
That's true.
This is happening.
Yeah. Okay, the picture frame.
Context.
The picture frame thing, that was wonderful.
That was.
It's one of those little details, but it shows how basically he's so, like, glorifying it in a sense that it's just like it's this piece of art in his mind, and like it's constantly changing and getting dirtier like as the episode goes on. So at the beginning it's just like, he's married to a really young girl, right? And it's like, and the phrasing, right? But then it's like, okay, now she's just wearing an apron, and it's
oh my gosh. But as far as just a dramatic introduction of a character that cares a lot. This is something that I think that the show is trying to make sure that we understand, is that he really cares about being a teacher. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of other stories where there's kind of a person who comes in with the, like basically like Mineta coming in, they're just like, oh my god, like I can do But he has, for some reason, a really strong desire to make this work beyond just the perks, as he calls them, of being a student teacher.
Here's something that I think it might be. The other guy, the actual like dangerous guy.
Yeah.
And did they say that he got
expelled because he seduced a student?
Right. Yeah. But he mentioned when the teachers were all in like the teachers' lounge or wherever that was, or at the bar.
They went out to eat together. All the student teachers.
He mentioned that a lot of teachers, that the because of the drugs and gangs and all that stuff, a lot of the teachers will just quit. They'll just collect their paycheck,
yes, that was it. They'll just collect their paycheck. They won't interfere.
Right.
They kind of just let everything happen. And I've heard actually from some people that know a little bit more about Japan than we do, that bullying in Japan is way worse than it is over in the West. The West has, like over here in the US, we've got some problems with bullying and stuff, but over there, the teachers are not only going to ignore it a lot of the time, sometimes they participate in it in order to kind of add more to that, like either that shame aspect or whatever.
And I'll bet that this is basically something where Onizuka is wanting to be that teacher that he never had.
Sure.
Like,
possibly.
He basically is like, okay, because he chose to be a teacher, right?
True.
It might be something where he was just like feeling guilty for gang stuff or whatever, or wanted to, he basically, so he did like an overcompensate, like 180 type thing.
Totally.
But But there's a reason he chose teacher specifically.
And they didn't reveal that this episode.
Nope.
Yeah.
So, oh boy, this is...
Now, the other part of it might be, they mentioned a little bit of a world-building thing where they were saying that it's really hard to get jobs nowadays. And they were like,
sure, so that's...
you know, you take what you can get. And it was Ryuji who got, like, the massive success. He's a manager of a store. And it's like, whoa. Like,
right.
You're doing well. And a teacher, a student teacher, mind you, is probably getting paid, like, dirt cheap, like nothing.
Oh, yeah. Teachers are normally underpaid as is.
And they mentioned that in the episode. So I think that this show actually might have some interesting meta-social commentary on the teaching culture.
Well, the whole thing that Onizuka said of, like, what was it? Teachers are people too.
Yeah, teachers are human too. Eventually they
push them hard enough, they're gonna snap with his bloodshot eyes and everything.
He's like contemplating murder,
like tied to his head,
pointing up.
Yeah.
This show actually reminds me a lot of JoJo's in that it really owns up to its own over-the-top presentation to sell the point that the characters are all, well, at least specifically the main character, Onizuka, very passionate about what they're doing.
Like, okay, and like,
so I love that.
There were, like, okay, the random things of, like, him getting into, like, the wolf costume. Like and
like in his mind, he's like, I'm gonna get into some really kinky foreplay stuff. Oh, yeah. It's like, bro, no.
But then, thankfully, while she was turned around, he
like, swapped everything out, and he's just like, oh, yes, that's horrible. You know?
Right.
Yeah, there were a lot of really funny miscommunication humor bits where someone would be more in the know of something than the other, and then
like the principal, the principal one. It's like, what did you do? Everyone is stunned, and he's like,
I know,
my bags,
It's like, you're such a great teacher,
you're the best teacher ever.
And he's like, yeah, I understand. Wait, what? And the fact that the next twist is they cleaned, like, we thought
the weekend,
right? Like, we thought that they were just going to be like,
hey,
we
don't
will
badmouth Onizuka.
Like, yeah, they will kind of stand up for him in the classroom.
But they had already cleaned the school and gotten all the other students
in on it.
In on it, like,
oh my gosh,
like standing information at attention, you know.
Well, the thing was is that those three, I think, were the leaders of the gang at the school.
Of the classroom.
So they commanded a lot of respect. So when Onizuka got their respect, they already had the respect of the class. So the class, it's a domino effect,
and
that's
like some
really
Red
brilliant.
Rising stuff. Like,
but it's fantastic. Like, the kind of potential you have with a character like this, who is a bit chaotic neutral, like a bit,
or just the or the way chaotic neutral. Yeah. I was gonna say the way extreme chaotic of chaotic good, but I'm like, no, he's chaotic.
He's
neutral.
chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
But like with having that be a thing that in a student teacher environment, no, you need like lawful good. You need like people that at the very least are lawful neutral, and they're like holding things steady to a system of things. And I think this might be where he basically shows an alternative as to, you know, a very unrealistic, over-the-top, ridiculous thing.
That would never work in real life.
But a really fun alternative look at what it means to be a teacher, and not just a teacher, a great teacher.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. I like that he, as a person who came from that place of like notoriety in the gang world, he does kind of, I'd say, seek after the pedestal just a little bit. He's like, I will be a great teacher.
Yeah.
You know?
They literally showed a part where like the delinquent boys were all like fanning him and like, you know.
I mean, who's to say that was his idea or theirs? Like,
right.
You know?
Yeah. That's true. But yeah.
Sorry, you were gonna say something earlier.
What was I going to say? Can't remember.
Okay. Well, the thing with Mizuki was, I think that her character was one that we could kind of tell that story about her having home trouble made sense. But when she pulled the rug out from under us, I was just like, hats off to you. Wow, that was incredible acting. But what I want to say, though, is that there were very cool, like, even though this is a limited, older, you know, show with limited animation and such, when they showed her body language and stuff from the earlier bits, it was way too, over the top and stuff.
Well, but that also could have just been his perspective because...
Yes. But I don't think that's the point. Because then when we had her, like, really breaking down and having some really, like, self-destructive thoughts and... like actions, but specifically, like... the kind of things where you could see it in her face, like there was something beaten down about her, and she was like really just tired. Like I actually think that the food part of her throwing it away was part of an example of kind of giving a little bit of spite to her parents, but also there's the
she might have been starving herself.
She might have been starving herself. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like there are a lot of things that people do when they're in that depressed, kind of no-win scenario state of their mind, and they'll turn to essentially what is basically self-harm. And for the show to kind of almost tackle that in a comedy-centric format, so quickly, that it was just like, whoa. I almost feel like I was discounting the show's potential to go into some maturer, more like heavy themes because it's so ridiculous and over the top and silly.
But at the same time, because it does that, it kind of basically turns off basically you willingly suspend your disbelief, right?
Sure.
So because it's so ridiculous, there's the comedy and then there's all that stuff, and that's kind of what anime does pretty much all the time.
True.
But because it does it to such an extent and in such a weird, quirky way, they can then switch over to something serious, and you're allowing yourself to be fully engrossed in it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I just got to give a shout out for them having the... I know this is a longer episode, so it has the time to do it. But to have that level of comedy on that far end of the spectrum in terms of ridiculousness, and this, like, kind of just emotionally rough stuff for someone to be going through. Because when they were building up kind of the thing that her parents were... in a weird kind of situation now, I clued in very quickly that there was intentional like separation between the mom and dad. Like this is not the kind of thing of where she felt like that she was being ignored. It was more like, no, the family is literally like separating at the seams.
Sequestered into, little boxes.
Boxes. And there's no escape from the box.
Well, and the thing that really sucked was like, okay, like we already knew, because what's her name? Mizuki had told Onizuka, and by extension us, but they had not shown us yet.
Yes.
So when they showed that little bit of the home life of the way the parents interacted, that was like,
that was grade A dysfunction. That was some that was some like
that was
like
S-class,
some serious like hurting cringe kind of thing. Where
like not the dysfunction of like everyone has their problem sort of thing.
Like every family's somewhat dysfunctional.
Right. But like this is like, oh no, this is not a family anymore. This is just people that are technically cohabitating. Like they pushed it about as far as they could away from that without actually, like going into different buildings.
Yeah. Did you notice, I don't know when this show is supposed to be set. I know the show came out a while ago, so that's probably why the TV looks kind of old and cheap and stuff. But actually the funny thing is that like we didn't really have like a TV like kind of an actual like TV of any like noteworthiness or whatever in our house and stuff when we were younger and things.
It was about this big.
And like their TV seemed to be more or less a little bit like kind of bigger and stuff. But I was about to make a comment about like, and I don't know if this was evident, but that certain parts of their house were kind of yes, that it has that air of wealth about it. But there are other parts where it's just like they haven't like upgraded that yet, so that maybe I think this is the wrong analysis entirely, but that they haven't gotten used to, basically they weren't prepared for wealth, so it changed them.
Oh, gotcha.
And they lost sight of what it meant to be a family.
because they were not dependent on each other, kind of a thing. Because if you're in a rough place financially, it's like
I think it's the wrong thing to insert the analysis based on the TV, but I think that's a reasonable.
But that is kind of what happened. You know, it's the idea that they were happy together while it was in something small, and because it's kind of the thing of they had to be, right? And maybe there was other stuff that happened after they moved into the other place that caused it to go differently.
Very possible,
but that had to start somewhere. So
I wonder if she used the arranged marriage description because it was basically
a way to
describe what her parents' marriage effectively was. Not necessarily that theirs was arranged,
but
or even that it was arranged at all.
But that they're married, but they're not
really
like
together.
Yeah, I could totally see that. One other thing I have to shout out to: one, the food, because that looks delicious.
Made the food look good,
and two,
always.
Onizuka constantly just being like, yes, the salmon, it's,
Yes!
And the tuna comes from that part of it. And she's like trying to like get his, attention and talk to him. He's just like, that part, it's the perfect part. If you get it too big, it gets stringy, but,
Yeah. But the thing also was like his voice, the person who's doing the voice acting work for Onizuka is doing an amazing job. But specifically, there's moments where he'll hear him go into that, I'm serious voice. Because when he talks more like this, like, I'm a delinquent, But when this guy is in serious mode, he does basically that Kazuma thing where he's like, moshe.
Right, it's they literally showed it with the principal where he just did the about turn where suddenly, and then he walks into the room with back straight, and,
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
But when he was mumbling out the whole things with the fish, he had that same voice going through.
Yep.
And he was just.
I almost expected for him to have basically like a picture frame thing, but instead it's just like different kinds of tuna, and he's just like, like going from tuna to tuna,
and then like he sees like this like demon lady like come in and take it and just start like smashing and destroying it, and he's just like. His picture frame like cracks,
One of the other things that I thought was really funny here that sort of shows how old this show is.
Yeah.
Did you notice some of the transitions that they used?
Yeah, the little wipes and stuff.
Yeah. Like that was just like, it was
nostalgic for you?
It was kind of nostalgic because it's like, man, I remember when those were actually like usable.
A thing,
Yeah,
I remember too. Yeah. I mean, even as recently as Star Wars prequels, they used wipes and like those types of transitions because basically Lucas wanted it to be kind of reminiscent of the original trilogy and stuff. But guys, this show has a ridiculous first episode. It was fantastically well done. The dialogue was insanely good. The whole story beats aspect of it was good. But the thing is that it almost felt like a pilot presentation episode you would give to a bunch of investors that like you can put any story on after this episode. Right. Like, so like we have no idea like what they're gonna do next.
Caleb,
like
this could be an episodic show.
I'd be okay with that.
I
just doubt that it will.
Right. And
it will be probably to some extent.
Yes, because it came out a long time ago, so most shows were episodic like that, and I'm not talking about episodic from the standpoint of developing a different character or whatever in the class each time. I'm saying like they could potentially, if they wanted to, have him go to a different class every episode.
Sure.
Or like every series of episodes.
We'll
or something
see.
Like. But good stuff.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much for recommending this to us, guys. Thank you very much for voting this in. We're loving it.
See what the hype was about. No.
Yeah. And guys, if you want to watch the next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access. So you can chat with us about stories, Great Teacher Onizuka, non-spoilery, of course, or whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.